hierarchically arranged and organically linked. It means that Supreme Court sits at the apex, and then afterwards we have high courts, and then we have lower courts. Organically linked. Organically linked means there is organic linkage. So each part of judiciary is interconnected and interdependent. So members of lower courts, they are elevated and appointed as members of high courts, and members of high courts, they are elevated and appointed as members of Supreme Court. So hierarchical arrangements. Hierarchically arranged, it means. Hierarchical arrangement means Supreme Court exercises administrative control. Supreme Court sits at the apex. It is hierarchy. Supreme Court sits at the apex in hierarchy. Hierarchy. Supreme Court exercises administrative control. Exercises administrative control over high courts. Over high courts. And high courts exercises administrative control. Administrative control over lower courts. They are administrative. High courts exercises administrative control over lower courts. Organically linked means what? Members of lower courts are elevated and appointed as members of high courts, and members of high courts are elevated and appointed as members of lower courts. So organically linked, it means each part is interconnected and interdependent. Each part is interconnected and interdependent. Each part is interconnected and interdependent. So members of lower courts are elevated and appointed as members of high courts. And members of high courts are elevated and appointed as members of Supreme Court. What about? So Constitution of India provides for a single and unified judiciary. It is another unique features provided under the Constitution of India. What about the American Constitution, which is the modern federal constitution? In the American Constitution, there is a two-tier judiciary. There is a federal Supreme Court, there is a state Supreme Court. Federal Supreme Court, it takes care of all the matters related to American federalism, and state Supreme Court, it deals with all the matters pertaining to the particular state. And both are supreme in their own sphere. But that is not the case with India, because Constitution of India is providing single and unified judiciary, in which Supreme Court sits at the apex. Judiciary is hierarchically arranged and organically linked. Hierarchically arranged means in this hierarchy, Supreme Court sits at the apex. Supreme Court exercises administrative control over high courts, and high courts exercises administrative control over the lower courts. Organically linked, it means each part of judiciary is interconnected and interdependent. So for example, I told you that members of lower courts, they are elevated and appointed as members of high courts, and members of high courts, they are elevated and appointed as members of Supreme Court. Everyone understood this concept? Please let me know. Yes, Constitution of India provides for a single and unified judiciary, an integrated judiciary. Everyone understood this concept? Please let me know. Or if there is any other doubt, then also please let me know. The Constitution of India provides for a common election commission under Article 324. Constitution of India provides for a common election commission, which is responsible for conducting elections to the parliament and elections to state legislative assembly. Under Article 324. Under Article 324. Constitution of India provides for a common election commission. What about United States of America? US, there is no such common election commission that is responsible for conducting election to state legislature, election to governor's election or state legislature election. Whereas Constitution of India provides for a common election commission under Article 324. We will discuss about it later on in election chapter. The Election Commission of India is responsible for conducting ECI, Election Commission of India, is responsible for conducting elections for parliament as well as state legislative assemblies, state legislative assembly. For example, yesterday elections happened in Maharashtra and Jharkhand, and by-elections happened in Uttar Pradesh and many other places. Election Commission of India, precisely. These elections were conducted by Election Commission of India. So Election Commission of India is responsible for conducting elections for parliament as well as state legislative assembly. There is no such mechanism that has been provided under the American Constitution. Then, under Article 360, we will discuss about Article 360 later on in emergency provisions. Under Article 360, financial emergency can be proclaimed by the President, leading to suspension of distribution of finances between central and state government. In case of India, in case of USA, there is no such provision that has been provided. To focus here, and when you ask question, I already gave you the opportunity to ask question. So, you must focus here. When I'm writing something on the board, so there is no point in asking question because I'm not looking at your question. I'm looking at only board. I will give you adequate opportunity to ask question. So just wait. Whenever I'm writing on the board, please refrain from writing anything or writing a question because that will discourage you. So it's not answering my question. The point is that I'm looking here on the board. How will I be able to look at your question? So just wait. I will give answer to your question. Whenever I ask whether you understood the concept or not, you promptly ask the question. Not the point. Whenever I'm writing on the board, there is no point in writing because I'm not looking at your question. I will look at your question only when I will be finished with this concept. So, Article 360. It deals with proclamation of financial emergency. Financial emergency topic will be discussed later on in emergency provision topic. Remember that financial emergency can be proclaimed by the president. Financial emergency can be proclaimed. It deals with proclamation of financial emergency by the president. Emergency by the president. And this topic will be discussed in detail later on, remember. It will be discussed, all these topics will be discussed in detail. For example, Supreme Court will also be discussed in detail, Election Commission will also be discussed in detail, emergency provisions will also be discussed in detail, so just wait for elaborate explanation. So it deals with proclamation of financial emergency by the President of India. And it leads to suspension of finances. It leads to suspension of finances between central and state government. It leads to suspension of finances between central and state government. There is no such provision provided under American Constitution. So if there is a classic federal relations, so in such a case, financial emergency won't be applied. But in case of India, it very clearly, very explicitly mentions under the Constitution of India. Once financial emergency has been proclaimed under Article 360, proclamation of financial emergency will lead to suspension of finances between central and state government. There are several other things. For example, central government can provide advices to the state government to maintain financial proprieties, to reduce the salaries of dignitaries. But we will discuss about all those aspects later on. My point here is that once financial emergency is being imposed, it leads to suspension of finances between central and state government. Does any such provision exist in United States of America? No, any such provision does not exist in United States of America. So that's the story so far. Everyone understood this one. Now let me take up your queries. And remember that election commission is responsible for conducting election for parliament as well as state legislative assembly. And state election commission is responsible for conducting elections to state legislature. Panchayats and municipalities too. Panchayats and municipalities. For local self-government, it is the responsibility of State Election Commission, whereas for both the Houses of Parliament and State Legislative Assembly, it is the prerogative of Election Commission of India. And then we have financial emergency provision. Everyone understood this concept? Now let me take up the question. A couple of questions were there. Naveen asked this question. Sushti, how exactly does American judicial system works? You will have to wait for it when we will discuss about American Constitution. Because I won't be able to discuss about American Constitution right now. It's a separate topic. It will be discussed in detail. Yes, Sashi. Naveen, we have single and unified judiciary, but verdict for some cases is different. And Supreme Court, yes. So you have single, so that is why I told you, no? That is hierarchy Supreme Court sets and apex. Naveen, so if High Court is a verdict, then the matter goes to Supreme Court because Supreme Court is the apex court. I told you that judiciary in India is hierarchically arranged and organized in which Supreme Court sets and apex. Naveen, answer your question. Especially all your questions are of no use because most of the questions which you are asking is utterly useless. While dealing with these concepts, I already told you that all these concepts will be discussed in detail when we will discuss about emergency provision. All your questions are utterly useless and baseless. So when you are asking why financial emergency is imposed, and I told you the financial emergency topic will be discussed later on. So you like a good student. Yes, same, so on. Financial emergency topic I told you will be discussed in detail. So we are not going to emergency provision right now. You only need to know this much for this topic. Kushi, if we have common election commission, then state election commission is different. Yes, it is different. Kushi. No, it is written there. Don't ask such question. It is written there on the board itself. All elections are held by. It is written there. But you sit in the class to sit with fresh mind. Obviously, it's the task. That is true. You may say so, Schiller. We will discuss about it today in the election commission topic. I already told you that these topics will be discussed in detail later on. You just ask question from what I explained to you, whether you have any doubt or not. Because I told you that any additional information will be provided in the topic itself, not right now. I mean, there is no point in asking any such question in this topic, question. That will be discussed in the election commission topic. And we are waiting for a formal bill on one nation and one election. So before that, it is mere speculation. But anyway, we will be discussing about it later on in the election chapter. I'm not getting your point. SEC, I'm not getting your point. SEC, State Election Commission, okay. You don't need to know about it. Leave it. आप किसी नहीं बोलते आकाश इसलिए आपने कमेंट जवाब नहीं दिया. I've already told you that financial emergency will be discussed later on, so there is no point in asking question again and again related to financial emergency because I have told you. Okay. Yes, for that. Okay. So I have already told you that we will be discussing about financial emergency in detail in emergency program. So why are you asking question? From that. I'm not interested about others. There is no topic called distinctive features which you will find in the books, and there is no topic called types of causality. There is no topic called basic concept. So please don't act smart. You will be blocked. You're sick. If you are unaware, ignorant, fool, so please keep mum. Maintain silence. Don't ask and don't write irrelevant things. You will be immediately blocked. You're sick. And it's a serious warning. You will be immediately blocked. And then you will not be able to attend even lectures. So please refrain from making any such concept. If you are a fool, then I don't care. No one teach. I'm not caring about others. If you are a fool, if you are a buffoon, I don't care for you and for your comment. You will be immediately blocked. Henceforth, any such comment and you will be blocked. We will discuss about it in Election Commission chapter. But Election Commission has got India has got nothing to do with panchayat election and municipalities. Yes, it. Yes, because distinctive feature topics are not mentioned even in the books, and a lot of questions they are asked from distinctive feature itself. If you want to know about it, I've got a list of questions. So those questions, so at least 10 questions have been asked from distinctive features. Yes, that is true. Really. Now next one is the Constitution of India. These are the distinctive features. Distinctive features means unique features given under the Constitution of India. Next one is administrative directions. Can administrative direction be given to state government by central government? Yes. The state government can give administrative direction to central government. Remember, can state government give administrative direction to central government? Yes. State government can give administrative direction to central government. Central government, it's the other way around. Can central government give administrative direction to state government? Yes. It can do so. It can do so on the issue of maintenance of means of communication and release properties. The state government can be under Article 256 and Article 257. Article 256 and Article 257. It is related to administrative direction to a state. So central can issue administrative direction to a state. But for one central can issue administrative direction to state. Central can issue administrative direction to a state on many things. So first one, central can issue administrative direction for maintenance of railways properties and means of communication. For example, if a state is burning or something is happening in a state, so central government will issue administrative direction to the state that you maintain railways properties at any cost. And you maintain means of communication. Suppose something happens in Bangladesh and people start burning railways properties and start destroying means of communication. So don't you think that entire country would virtually come to a standstill for the country? I said that suppose in Bangladesh something happens. So it is in the middle of the country. Entire country is connected with Bangladesh and entire country is connected with Bangladesh. So if something happens in Bangladesh and people will start burning railways properties and means of communication, then entire country would virtually come to a standstill. Nothing would be able to move forward if something happens in Bangladesh or any one state of India, which is well connected to other parts of the country. Now what will happen? Central can issue administrative direction to the state government about maintenance of railways properties. Central can issue administrative direction to state government for maintenance of railways properties and means of communication, failing to comply with orders coming from central government. If central has given administrative direction, suppose to Bangladesh government, that you want to maintain railways properties and means of communication, and still looting, arsenic, or other things are happening in the state, so what will happen? It may be construed by the center. It may be construed means it may be supposed by the center under Article 365. It may be supposed under Article 365 that the state government has failed to comply with the administrative direction given by central government, and therefore the central government will be justified in dismissing Madhya Pradesh government under Article 326. What about? Again, listen to me carefully. I said that central government can issue administrative direction. I have taken one example of Madhya Pradesh government. Suppose central government has given administrative direction to Madhya Pradesh government because of increasing cases of vandalism in the state, increasing cases of damaging railways properties in the state. If central government has issued administrative direction to Madhya Pradesh that you need to maintain railways properties and means of communication, but if Madhya Pradesh government is unable to do so, if Madhya Pradesh government fails to comply with orders coming from central government, now what will happen? If Madhya Pradesh government fails to comply with the administrative direction of the central government, then under Article 365, it may be construed by the center, it may be presumed by the center that administration of the state cannot be carried on in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution. Administration of the state cannot be carried on in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution. And therefore, central government will be justified in dismissing such a state government and imposing president rule under Article 356. So, there is no such provision that is being provided under the Constitution of India. And if anything happens in any part of India, And if central government has issued administrative direction to a state government, and a state government does not comply with the orders, administrative directions of central government, then it might be construed, it might be presumed by the central government under Article 365 that the administration of the state cannot be carried on in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution. And therefore, central government would be justified in dismissing such a state government under which article? Under Article 356. Under Article 256. Under Article 256, you can only issue administrative direction. That's it. Very good. But dismissal of the state government will take place only under Article 256. And central government, presuming that administration of the state in this case cannot be able to run as per the provisions of the Constitution, will happen under Article 365. Very good. So, this is what I'm telling you, Supreme, that Indian federal system, these are the points that makes Indian federation different from other federal constitutions of the world. But a lot of question comes from these topics. Yes, these are my information. These are the things that are provided in, if you look at some of the classics related to Indian constitution. So in those books you will find these topics, not in Lakshmikant. Lakshmikant book is a very basic book, it's a guidebook. So don't go overboard about Lakshmikant. Lakshmikant, Yash is not a textbook today, it's not a textbook. Lakshmikant is a guidebook. And since it is guidebook, so it should be treated like a guidebook only. It will never be able to replace Subhas Kashyap, it will never be able to replace D.D. Basu, but I'm not recommending you to read D.D. Basu. But all those topics that are very relevant from exam point of view, from where they keep on asking question. For example, I told you about Article 249, 250, 252, 253, up to 56, that central legislative was the subjects given under the state list. Now you tell me, that do you find these things in any one material? And they have asked not one, but they have asked at least thrice questions from these topics. Just now I'm about to discuss those questions with you. So don't worry, within 5 minutes I will be discussing those topics. But in none of the material, they have directly mentioned about Article 249, 250, 252, 253, up to 56, under Schedule 7. The point is that you Lakshmikant or any other book, those are not classics, those are not textbooks, those are guidebooks. And those examiner while making question does not refer to those guidebooks. Examiner while making question who had referred to these textbooks. I can tell you that in mains exam, they have simply picked up the lines from these books and they have asked question in mains exam. What a point. In mains exam, they have simply picked up the topic. Now I will be discussing a lot of questions with you right now. So, okay, Yash, okay, thank you. I got it wrong, maybe it was my fault. I got it wrong. So, Article 256 or 257. Central can issue administrative direction. Can issue administrative direction. Administrative directions to a state government. But for what? Administrative directions to state government. But for what administrative direction can be issued? Central can issue administrative direction to a state government. For what? For maintenance of railways properties. For maintenance of railways properties and means of communication. Railways properties and for maintenance of means of communication, like highways, roadways, airways, waterways, means of communication. Remember, central can issue administrative direction and state government. Under which article? Under Article 256 and 257. For what? For maintenance of railways properties and means of communication. But what if a state government is unable to comply with orders coming from central government? What will happen? What if a state government is unable to comply with order? If the state government is unable to comply with orders with administrative direction coming from central government, if state government is unable to comply with the administrative direction, with the administrative directions coming from central government, pay attention to me. I said that under Article 56 and 257, central government can issue administrative direction to a state government. For what central government can issue administrative direction? For maintenance of railways properties and for maintenance of means of communication. And if a state government is unable to comply with the administrative directions coming from central government, if a state government is unable to comply with the administrative direction coming from central government, then it may be construed. Construed means presumed. It may be construed or presumed under Article 365. Remember, under Article 365, that administration of the state cannot be run. Administration of the state cannot be run as per the provisions of central government. Remember, there are 3 parts in this particular article. Part 1, the central can issue administrative direction to a state government. For what? For maintenance of railways properties and means of communication. Now part 2. If a state government is unable to comply with the administrative directions coming from central government, then it may be construed or presumed under which article? Under Article 365. That administration of the state cannot be run as per the provisions of the Constitution. Therefore, under Article 365, under Article 365, central will be justified in dismissing such a state government. Therefore, under Article 365, central will be justified in dismissing such state government. Under which article state government can be dismissed? Dismissing such state government. Under which article? Under Article 356. What are the point? So there are 3 things involved. Part 1, central can issue administrative direction that you want to maintain railways properties and means of communication. Part 2, failing to comply with administrative direction coming from center, failing to comply administrative directions coming from center, then it may be construed under which article? Under Article 365. That administration of the state cannot be carried on as per the provisions of the Constitution. So till part 2, now it has been presumed by the central government that administration of the state cannot be run as per the provisions of the Constitution. And therefore, such a state government shall be dismissed because it has failed to comply with orders coming from the central government and it is not running as per the provisions of the Constitution. Therefore, such a state government shall be dismissed. Under which article? Under Article 356. So there are three articles involved. Article 56 to 57, Article 365 and Article 356. Under Article 356, you have merely presumed means what? You have merely presumed that administration of the state cannot be run as per the provisions of the Constitution. It gives you the right to presume under Article 365 that administration of the state cannot be run as per the provisions of the Constitution. Since administration cannot be run as per the provisions of the Constitution, therefore central government has been given the right under Article 365 to dismiss, under Article 356 to dismiss such a state government because it is going against constitutional spirit. That's the story so far. Everyone understood this concept? Please let me know. Everyone understood this concept? Or is there any doubt? As per the provisions of Constitution, sorry, as per the provisions of the central government Constitution, as per the provisions of Constitution. All these provisions of Indian Constitution makes it amply clear to us that Indian Federation is a federation sui generis. It is a different federation from the world. No, it is not confusing. It is not confusing. It is clearly written here. How is it confusing? It is clearly written here. Then how is it confusing? Simply, under Article 365, it might be construed that administration is not running as per the provisions of the Constitution. And therefore, under Article 356, the state government will be dismissed. Why it is confusing? I am already told you about radical administrative direction. Source money. And source money, you slightly work upon your English. Read Times of India, not Hindu initially, and you work upon your English. Because you would have understood this concept well if I could have explained it in Hindi. No, Kushi, such protests will keep on happening in India. It's a huge country, so such protests will keep on happening, don't worry. Source money. You please ask your precise doubt. Yes, almost same. Both are related to Akash, administrative provision. So you don't need to know about it separately since both are related to administrative provisions only. That is why I clubbed it together. That is why it has been clubbed together because both are related to administrative direction only. The purpose of these two articles that executive powers from both state and center are to be used harmoniously. No time for compliance. It will be decided by central government. Manjuri, no time for compliance. No, in case of Manipur chaos, what can be applied is Article 355. We will discuss about Article 355 later on. Because in Manipur, there are some powers that are outside India, they are also involved. So Kuki militants, they are getting support from Myanmar and they are also getting support from China. So Article 355 will be applied here. It depends upon central government whether central government is issuing such direction or not. Abhishek, it depends on central government. So basically the purpose of Article 56 and 57 is to ensure that executive powers of both center as well as state are harmoniously constructed. They are not in conflict with each other. Point by point. The purpose of both Article 56 and 257 is that executive powers of both central government and state government are harmoniously constructed and they are not in conflict with each other. That is why it says that administrative directions can be issued because those administrative directions are necessary not only for the concerned state, it is also necessary, it is also needed for the rest of the country. So all these provisions which we have discussed so far in distinctive features of Indian Constitution makes us realize that Indian Constitution is a federation sui generis. So these provisions of Indian Constitution, these provisions of Indian Constitution, these provisions of Indian Constitution proves that Indian Constitution is a federation. Indian Constitution or Indian Federation is a federation sui generis. It's a federation sui generis. It's a French word, sui generis. Sui generis means of its own kind, different from others. It's called a sui generis, of its own kind, different from others. It's called as sui generis. Indian Constitution of Federation sui generis. It is different from other federal constitutions of the world. It is different from other federal constitutions of the world. I prove that Indian Federation is different from American Federation. So it is different from other federal constitution of the world. It is different from other federal constitution of the world. That's the story so far. But Yash, Khalistan issue is not a prominent issue anymore. There are only 10% people who are having separatist mindset. So I don't think the Khalistan issue can be applied here. There are 10% people, there is no denying this fact that they are having separatist mindset. 90% of the people, they are not having separatist mindset. So obviously, this cannot be applied to Khalistan issue. Yes, the state government can ask for help. Because under Article 355, we will discuss about it in emergency provision Akash. Under Article 355, it is constitutional responsibility of the central government to protect the state from external aggression and also from armed rebellion and internal turmoil. So we will discuss about it later on in emergency provision Akash. Yes, it is the decision will be final, but it is subject to judicial review. It is subject to judicial review. Uchal. We will discuss about judicial review later on under Article 13. Any other question? So we are moving on to a new topic, that is preamble. Any other? So let me before moving on to preamble, let me discuss about a couple of questions. First, now let us do some mental exercise related to the question. Which one of the following? It's a question of 2023. I'm asking you the question. I will also be giving you options, and then you will have to answer. So first question is, which one of the following statement best reflects the chief purpose of the Constitution of the country? Constitution of the country. Which one of the following statement best reflects the chief purpose of the Constitution of the country? Just wait, session. Which one of the Constitution is? Which one of the following statement best reflects the chief purpose of the Constitution of the country? One. It determines the objective for the making of necessary laws. Chief purpose of the Constitution. Poll right now, I don't think poll would be possible because for poll I need to connect with the studio person, so I don't think right now poll would be possible. So we will be conducting polls from tomorrow onwards. So just wait. So which one of the following statement best reflects the chief purpose of the Constitution of the country? A. It determines the objective for the making of necessary laws. B function. It means there might be a couple of correct answers, but you need to choose the one which is the most appropriate. So one, it determines the objective for the making of necessary laws. Two, it enables the creation of political offices and a government. Obviously not. And third, it secures social justice, social equality, and social security. Social security. It secures social justice, social equality, and social security also. Key function. And fourth, it defines and limits the powers of the government. It defines and limits the powers of the government. So this option, which option would be correct? It defines and limits the powers of the government. Yes, the answer would be D. Now let us move on to the next question. A constitutional government by definition is a constitutional government. Now listen to me. Another question. A constitutional government by definition is a one government by legislature. A constitutional government. A constitutional government by definition is a government by legislature. Popular government, multi-party government, and limited government. A constitutional government by definition is a government by legislature, popular government, C, multi-party government, and D, limited government. Limited government. Okay. Next question. Next question is again a multiple choice question. A constitutional government is the one which, remember, a constitutional government is the one which, statement first, and listen to me carefully. A constitutional government is the one which, statement one, places effective restrictions on individual liberty in the state in the interest of the state authority. A constitutional government is the one which places effective restrictions on individual liberty in the interest of the state authority. What did I teach you? A constitutional government is the one that places effective restriction on individual liberty in the interest of the state authority. This statement is correct or this statement is wrong? A constitutional government is the one which places effective restrictions on individual liberty in the interest of the state authority. Yes, this statement is wrong. In the interest of the state authority, you are placing restriction on individual liberty. Obviously, it's wrong. So this statement is wrong. Now, next statement. A constitutional government is the one which places effective restriction on the authority of the state in the interest of individual liberty. A constitutional government is the one which places restrictions on the authority of the state in the interest of individual liberty. In the interest of individual liberty. Of course, it is true. It is true. A constitutional government is the one that places effective restriction on the state's authority in the interest of individual liberty. So basically, a constitutional government is the one that promises us a limited government that places a restriction on the state's authority in the interest of individual liberty. So the second statement would be correct. Again, this question has been asked. Now, next question. Which one of the following best defines the term state? Which one of the following best defines the term state? A community of persons permanently occupying a definite territory, independent of external control, and possessing an organized government. We discussed about it in detail. Right? A state consists of a permanent territory occupied by a population, having an organized government, and it is free from external control. So obviously, this answer would be correct. Now let us move on to the next thing. In the context of polity, which one of the following would you accept the most appropriate definition of liberty? Remember, in the context of polity, which one of the following? In the context of polity, which one of the following would you accept as the most appropriate definition of liberty? Context of polity, what is the most appropriate definition of liberty? First, opportunity to do whatever one likes. Context of remember, context of polity, which one of the following is the most appropriate definition of liberty? Option one, opportunity to do whatever one likes. Obviously, it is an absurd option. Opportunity to do whatever one likes. Two, absence of restraint. Three, if there will be no restraint, obviously, then you will not be able to exercise your liberty. Obviously, this is again an absurd statement. Absence of restraint. Now, third, protection against the tyranny of political ruler. Obviously not. Liberty is something else. Protection against the tyranny of political ruler. Obviously not. Liberty is something else in the context of polity. And The last one is opportunity to develop oneself fully. Obviously, liberty gives you the opportunity to develop oneself fully. We discussed about it in detail. Liberty means freedom to do what one thinks best for himself or herself. But liberty does not mean license. Liberty means responsibility. You want to have some responsibility towards your fellow being. Your fellow being has got some responsibility towards you. So liberty gives you the opportunity to develop oneself fully. Then, next question. Which one of the following factor constitutes the best safeguard to liberty? We will discuss about it later on. Not right now. Which one of the following? This question we will discuss when we will discuss about the American Constitution. Not right now. Then we have already discussed about a relationship between law and liberty. Then we have discussed about the relationship between rights and duties. Now let us move on to another question. The question is, which one of the following is not a feature of Indian federalism? Pay attention to me. Which one of the following is not a feature of Indian federalism? Remember, which one of the following is not a feature of Indian federalism? Statement one. Not a feature of. Pay attention to me. Which one of the following is not a feature of Indian federalism? So you do not need to check what is the feature of Indian federalism. You need to think what is not a feature of Indian federalism. This kind of question, despite knowing everything, you will get it wrong. Why? Because of lack of presence of mind, not because of knowledge. Exam is not always a function of your knowledge. Exam is always a function of your smartness. The question is, which one of the following is not a feature of Indian federalism? It means if there are four options, the three options would be the feature of Indian federalism, and one option will not be the feature of Indian federalism. So basically, he's asking which one of the following is not a feature of Indian federalism. One, there is an independent judiciary in India. Whether it is a feature of federalism? Yes, it is a feature of Indian federalism that we have an independent judiciary. Second, powers have been clearly divided between central and state government. Of course, division of power and distribution of power. First one, there is an independent judiciary in India. Authority, of course, we discussed about it. B, powers have been clearly divided between central and state government. Yes, we discussed about it. Division of power and distribution of power. It is a feature of federalism. And third, the federating units have been given unequal representation in the Rajya Sabha. Yes, the federating units have been given unequal representation in the Rajya Sabha. I told you about Rajya Sabha, that it is not a federal, it is not a feature of federalism. Then Manjari asked me this question when I was discussing about unequal representation of the states in Rajya Sabha. So Manjari said that how it is a uniquely feature. This is a unique feature of Indian federalism. It is not a feature of classic federalism. So federating units have been given unequal representation in Rajya Sabha. Yes, it has been given unequal representation in Rajya Sabha. So states in Rajya Sabha, they are represented on the basis of their population and not on the principle of equality. I told you about that. And if you remember, I also told Manjari asked this question. So I told her that in those of United States of America, there is an upper house which is equivalent to Rajya Sabha, that is American Senate. So there are 50 states, and out of 50 states, every state sends 2 members to American Senate. So it means 100 members are being sent to American Senate. And then you have the option, which is not a feature of Indian federalism. It is the result of the agreement between federating unit. Did I not tell you that Indian federalism is not the result of legal agreement between central and states, between federating unit? D would not be the feature of federalism. It is Indian federalism is not a result of legal agreement between central and states. So now let us move on to the next question. The next question is, which one of the following in Indian polity is an essential feature that indicates that it is federal in character? Remember, which one of the following in Indian polity is an essential feature? Which one of the following in Indian polity is an essential feature that indicates that it is federal in character? So essential feature that indicates that Indian constitution is federal in character. One. So basically, it is asking about the feature which makes Indian constitution essentially federal in character. So one. Union legislature, that is parliament, has elected representatives from constituent units. Union legislature has elected representatives from constituent units. Then second, obviously not. That is an absurd because we also have Rajya Sabha and we have Lok Sabha. The union cabinet can have elected representative from regional parties. Obviously not. Why would central government select representative from regional parties if they are not partnered with central government? The fundamental rights are enforceable by code of law. It has got nothing to do with federalism. Then the independence of judiciary is safeguarded. Is an essential feature that Indian constitution is federal in character. The independence of judiciary is safeguarded. It will be correct or not? Yes, independence of judiciary is safeguarded. It is correct. Now next one. Next one is about. So a lot of questions have been asked from the topic types of authority also. But we have not discussed in detail about the conditions in which you need certain authority. We will discuss about those conditions in Parliament chapter, not right now. We will discuss about, remember, that we will discuss about all those conditions which is needed for different types of authority like simple authority, and we have already discussed about absolute authority and special authority. But we will discuss in detail about simple authority where it is needed and effective authority where it is needed in Parliament chapter, not right now. So a lot of questions have been asked from this area also. Now next one is. Next question. Which one of the following are covered under the concurrent list in the Constitution of India? Which one of the following are covered under the concurrent list in the Constitution of India? Concurrent list, remember, that is both can legislate, but Parliament will have prior and superior claim of legislation. What is forest? You will not be able to solve such question without eliminating. So first, you should not go for an answer. You should try to eliminate it first. So I said that it is asking about the subjects covered under the concurrent list. And what are the subjects? Subject one is forest, trade union, marriage. Forest, trade union. So it means you are absolutely sure about forest. The forest is a subject covered under the union list. Then second, trade union is also something which is not specific to a state. Trade union is, you should start using your logic. Forest is something, forest I told you also in the class. Forest is something that is not only related to the concerned state. Forest is something that is related to state as well as entire country. Concerned state as well as entire country. Both can legislate, but parliament laws will have prior and superior claim of legislation. Now again, trade union. And then third one is marriage. Marriage is not a part of concurrent list. Why marriage is not a part of concurrent list? Apply your logic. That is why I told you that you do not need to memorize entire list, because memorization of entire list would be impossible for you. People do this mistake or rather foolish act. They go and they try to memorize something. Don't do that. Don't try to memorize. Use your logic. First I told you about forest. You can easily make out that forest is something that is relevant for entire country as well. The Suppose in Madhya Pradesh you have forest, and all those forests are being cut down, and forest lands are being turned into agricultural land. So it is going to disturb the ecosystem greatly, and it is not only going to affect Madhya Pradesh, it is going to affect the rest of the country. Not my point. So therefore, it is something that is not only relevant for Madhya Pradesh, it is something that is relevant for the rest of the India. Not my point. Suppose you have forest in Andhra Pradesh. So forest of Andhra Pradesh is relevant for Andhra Pradesh, but it is also relevant for India. It is not only relevant for Andhra Pradesh. That is why it should come under concurrent list. Second, marriage. Marriage is something which is very region specific. Suppose there is a tribe living in the remote area of Arunachal Pradesh. The tribal group will have its own distinct culture and tradition that will be very much different from the culture and tradition from a city like Delhi or Mumbai. And therefore, their marriages, it should not be governed by, their marriages should not be governed by a governed under concurrent list. It is not relevant for the whole of India. It is very region specific. It is very localized. I said that a tribal group is living in remote villages of Arunachal Pradesh. Now, it is not something that is relevant for the rest of the country. It is something that is relevant for the local population. And therefore, it should not come under the ambit of concurrent list. What will come under the ambit of concurrent list? If something that pertains to the rest of the country as well. Something that pertains to the rest of the country, it is going to affect the rest of the country, will come under the concurrent list. So marriage is very localized phenomenon. Marriage is something that is relevant, that is very region specific, especially for tribal group, and therefore it cannot be termed as something that will belong to concurrent list. So this option gone. Option 3 gone. Now, once you are able to eliminate option 3, what are the options given here? 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 1 and 3, 1, 2 and 3. Once you are able to eliminate option 3, you will get the answer. Straight away you will get the answer. So they deliberately place those options where you can apply your logic. Now, marriage is something on which you can easily apply your logic. Marriage is something which is very sacred, which is very localized, and which is very region specific. So marriages, the way marriages are happening in one part of India, it is not going to affect the rest of the country. So if marriages are happening in a particular tribal group in northeastern part of India, in Nilgiri Hills, it is not likely to affect the rest of the country. Therefore, it cannot be termed as something belonging to the concurrent list, because only those things that has got the potential to affect the rest of the country can be termed as part of concurrent list. Not my point. So this particular option can easily be eliminated. So out of 4 options, one option common in 3 of the options, the 3 of the option is 3. You eliminate it, you will get the answer. So answer is forest as well as second one is trade union. What my point? So the way I'm using logic, the type of logic you want to apply in the paper. And this logic you will not be developing merely by reading. This logic you will develop when you will be solving a lot of questions. So try to solve a lot of questions, especially previous year's question. So suppose this year they have asked question related to concurrent list and they have given you the option like forest and trade union. Next year they will ask question related to a state list and they will give you one of the option like marriage, which has already been asked. That is the benefit of going through previous year's question paper. Not about. Suppose this year they have given you the option forest, trade union and marriage. Marriage, it does not belong to concurrent list. It is very reason specific. You got it right. Next year they will ask question related to something and they will place one of the option as marriage. So, now next one. About those 5 extraordinary conditions. Now look at those 5 extraordinary conditions. That is under Article 49 to 50, 52, 53, and 56. Question number 1. Question number 1 says the Parliament of India acquires the power to legislate on any item in the state list in the national interest. What did I tell you about remembering an article? That you do not need to memorize the whole thing. You only need to memorize one word. For Article 249, you only need to memorize one word, that is national interest. So just by remembering national interest, this will happen only when you have gone through the material 3 times. So just by remembering national interest, whenever Article 29 comes, it will suddenly strike your mind. It says the Parliament of India acquires the power to legislate on any item in the state list in the national interest. In the national interest, if a resolution to that effect is passed by Lok Sabha Rajya Sabha, a resolution to that effect is passed by Lok Sabha Rajya Sabha by which majority? Obviously, I told you if it is passed by Rajya Sabha by 2/3 of the members present in the room. So the option says Lok Sabha by a simple majority, obviously incorrect. Lok Sabha by a majority of not less than 2/3 of its total membership, incorrect. Rajya Sabha by a simple majority is simply incorrect. It is Rajya Sabha by a majority of not less than 2/3 of its members present voting. Now next question. Next question is under which article of Indian Constitution the Parliament can make laws on a state list subjects for giving effect to international agreement. Again, I told you that you just need to memorize one word. The question says under which article of the Indian Constitution Parliament can make laws on a state list subject for giving effect to international agreements. Remember, under which article of the Indian Constitution the Parliament can make laws on the state list subject for giving effect to international agreement? Article 223, yes. Very correct. Very correct. Now next one. The Parliament can make any law for the whole or any part of India for implementing international treaty. The Parliament, remember. So just a moment, I'm taking up 1 minute. Just a moment. The Parliament of India. Next question is the Parliament can make any law for whole or any part of India for implementing international treaty. Option is with the consent of all the states. Remember, listen to me. The Parliament can make any law for the whole or any part of India for implementing international treaty. Again, Article 253 is coming to play. Options are 1. With the consent of all the states. Did I tell you that? With the consent of all the states, obviously not. The state government has got nothing to do with it. The Parliament can take over a particular state subject without the consent of the state also in order to implement international treaty under Article 253. So with the consent of all the states, obviously it's a wrong statement. Okay. With the consent of the majority of the state, again it's a wrong statement because I told you that the state government has got nothing to do with it. So with the consent of the majority of the state, it's a wrong statement. See, with the consent of the states concerned, obviously not. It's a wrong statement. And fourth, without the consent of any state, without the consent of any state, without the consent of any state, the Parliament can make laws over an item given under the state list under Article 253 in order to implement international agreement or international treaties. What a point. So the answer will be D. Then, now let us move on to the next question. Article 356. Article 356, the question is about, just a moment. Then a lot of questions has also been asked on topics like, a lot of question, like types of majority, because I told you that this topic will also be discussed when we will discuss about parliament topic. So now let us move on to a new topic, that is preamble. Let us begin it today so that we would be able to finish it tomorrow, or if not tomorrow, then day after tomorrow. I have already laid down the groundwork for you. I have already created a base for you so that you can easily comprehend, understand, and read Indian polity. And you can now sprint with respect to Indian polity. You will not ground, you will now start sprinting. That is why I take up these topics beforehand. Before formally starting introducing Indian polity, I take up these topics because my experience says that if the students are able to complete these 4 topics, one basic concept, second, types of authority, third, nature of Indian constitution, conditions which are required for a constitution in order to be called a federal constitution, and distinctive features of Indian constitution, types of authority also. Now the basic groundwork has already been prepared. Now you can easily sprint. You will not merely growl or you will not merely walk. That is why I always cover these 4 topics before any other topic. Good, agree. Okay, now, don't worry, we will wind up the topic by 12:15 itself. Don't worry. We will wind up the topic by 12:15. Preamble. I'm just beginning the topic. We will be covering it tomorrow, not right now. So preamble. Preamble is nothing. Preamble is nothing but preamble is the summary of the Constitution. American Constitution was the first Constitution that incorporated a preamble and then became customary for other constitutions of the world to have preamble. American Constitution was the first Constitution to have preamble, and then it became a custom for other constitutions of the world that they also started having preamble. Preamble is like the summary of the Constitution. Preamble is like an introduction of the Constitution. Preamble is like the philosophy of the Constitution. Preamble is the key to read the minds of members of the Constitution. Preamble, it is not necessary to have preamble, since the American Constitution was the first federal constitution of the world that incorporated preamble in American Constitution, and then it became customary for other federal constitution to have preamble as well. Basically, it introduces to the Constitution. It is an introduction to the Constitution. It also incorporates all the philosophies of the Constitution. The philosophies of the Constitution are also included under the preamble. Then it is an introduction to the Constitution. It is a key to read the minds of framers of the Constitution. Preamble tells us a lot about India's freedom struggle, the aim for which India's freedom struggle was fought. And preamble also tells us about the vision and aspirations of the people of India. So, US Constitution was the first. US Constitution was the first constitution. First constitution to incorporate preamble. And then it became customary. For other constitutions. And then it became customary for other constitutions to have preamble. It became a custom. That's it. The preamble is like summary of the Constitution. It's like an introduction to the Constitution. It is an introduction to the Constitution. It tells us about vision and aspiration of people of India. It tells us about the vision and aspiration of the people of India. It also tells us about the aim for which India's freedom struggle was fought. It tells us about the aim for which India's freedom struggle was fought. The preamble is basically the philosophy of the Constitution. It is an introduction to the Constitution. It is summary of the Constitution. It is philosophy of the Constitution. Philosophy of the Constitution. For example, it talks about justice, it talks about liberty, equality, fraternity, etc. It talks about ideals, it talks about aspirations of the people of India. It talks about the vision for a future society. It realizes the significance of preamble for us. So preamble is not a part that can be implemented. Remember that preamble is nothing but merely studying the philosophical tool of Indian Constitution. So preamble is the philosophy of the Constitution. Preamble is something that contains about the philosophy. But whether philosophy can be implemented, is the question. That any philosophical idea can be implemented by the code of law. What does your logic say? And our philosophical idea be implemented. And a philosophical idea implemented by the code of law. You give an answer. Will you be able to implement a philosophical idea Yes, philosophical ideas cannot be implemented. Okay, somebody was saying that malice is a part of concrete list. Okay, so let me check it out whether malice is a part of concrete list or not. Because I'm unable to define it. If malice will be a part of concrete list, it is very difficult to memorize the whole thing. If malice will be a part of concrete list, the answer would be 1, 2, and 3. So let me check it out whether it is a part of concrete list or not. But I would advise you to refrain from such question if you do not know the answer. If your logic implies, then you can answer. Otherwise, any such question which has been provided in the list, so it is not advisable. Okay. So let me check it out whether it is malice and concrete list or not. Because I'm not remembering whether it is a concrete list or not. If it is a concrete list, then the answer would be 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Malice and divorce is in the concrete list. Okay. Sorry. So you know the question from today's lecture? Yes, Aksa. Philosophical ideas can be pursued but not implemented. The logic says that since preamble contains the philosophy of the constitution, therefore preamble cannot be implemented in the code of law, cannot be enforced in the code of law. Aksa. So preamble, since preamble contains what do you call the philosophy of the constitution, and philosophy cannot be implemented. So by this logic also, something written in the preamble cannot be implemented in the code of law, because philosophical ideas can only be pursued. As Aksa said, it cannot be implemented. So it cannot be implemented in the code of law. No, that is not true. Fundamental right is something is very concrete, it is very static, it is not dynamic, it has been written there, and it is enforceable in the code of law. But preamble is something which has been provided in very general term, and that is why it cannot be implemented in the code of law. Since preamble says that justice, social, economic, and political, how will you be implementing justice? Because the meaning of justice is different for different people. The meaning of justice is different for different society. The meaning of justice in America is different, in India is different, in Afghanistan is different. Because the meaning of justice is different, it depends upon a lot of context. It cannot be implemented in the code of law. It's pure philosophy. These ideas cannot be implemented. We'll discuss about it with that later on. So that's all about today. Now let us wind up with today's lecture and move and we will discuss about preamble tomorrow. So hopefully we will try to finish preamble tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then day after tomorrow certainly. And remember that any question that is related to the list, it is very difficult to attempt if you do not remember it. So if logic implies it is fine, otherwise leave it. There is no point in memorizing the whole list, because you won't be able to memorize the whole list. It contains roughly 200 odd items. It will be combined with the list. Union list, the state list, and concrete list. So combined subjects number of items are more than 200. So it is practically not possible for you to memorize every subject. So just leave it. So that's all about today. That's all about today. Thank you everyone. Thank you everyone. Collection has been given so far. Thank you Moralisa, thank you. It is very easy. It is not very difficult. It is very easy. Provided you stick to the syllabus and you stick to the question. Preamble. It is preamble. I have already given you an idea about preamble. You will continue with it. Yes, sure, Krishna. We will discuss about it. So let us wind up with today's topic. You will leave now. You have your next class lined up, so you know it now. And you can go
आपको पॉलिटिकल साइंस और इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन के बारे में स्ट्रैटेजी बताऊंगा अपनी। और इस साल मेरे इस सब्जेक्ट में सबसे ज़्यादा मार्क्स है, दैट इज़ 325। नाउ पॉलिटिकल साइंस जो सब्जेक्ट है इसमें बेसिकली दो पेपर्स हैं। पहला पेपर कोर पॉलिटिकल साइंस है और दूसरा पेपर इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन।
सबसे कम महंगाई दिल्ली के अंदर है, सबसे कम।
इतना झूठ बोलते हैं ये लोग कि
एंड आज डीके हेलो एवरीवन, मेरा नाम नवनीत मान है एंड सिविल सर्विसेज एग्जामिनेशन 2019 में मैंने ऑल इंडिया रैंक 33 सिक्योर करी है। एंड आज डीकेटी दिल्ली नॉलेज ट्रैक में मैं आपके साथ अपने ऑप्शनल दैट इज़ पॉलिटिकल साइंस एंड इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस की प्रेपरेशन स्ट्रैटेजी शेयर करूँगी। ये मेरा सेकंड अटैम्प्ट था। इससे पहले मैंने अपने फर्स्ट अटैम्प्ट में ऑल इंडिया रैंक 501 सिक्योर करी थी एंड उसमें आई वाज एलोकेटेड द इंडियन डिफेंस अकाउंट सर्विस, जिसकी ट्रेनिंग अभी मेरी कंटिन्यू हो रही है। फर्स्टली डायरेक्टली कमिंग टू पॉलिटिकल साइंस एंड इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस के बारे में। फर्स्टली जो क्वेश्चन हमारे लिए आता है कि हाउ टू चूज एन ऑप्शनल, and this is definitely a very crucial question, especially for engineering graduates, including me. मैंने अपनी कंप्यूटर साइंस एंड इंजीनियरिंग की ग्रेजुएशन कंप्लीट करी थी इन 2017 फ्रॉम इंदिरा गांधी दिल्ली टेक्निकल यूनिवर्सिटी एंड मैंने अपना ऑप्शनल चूज़ किया था इन फोर्थ ईयर। मेरे पैरामीटर्स ऑप्शन चूज़ करने के फर्स्टली कंप्यूटर साइंस एक ऑप्शन नहीं होता यूपीएससी में, सो डेफिनेटली मैं अपना ग्रेजुएशन सब्जेक्ट नहीं चूज़ कर सकती थी। सेकंड वाज दैट गिवन मेरा नॉन मेडिकल बैकग्राउंड था, सो नेचुरल चॉइस वाज फिजिक्स केम या मैथ्स चूज़ करने का। बट गिवन दैट ये सारे एग्जाम की ओरिएंटेशन इज टुवर्ड्स ह्यूमैनिटीज, सो मेरा ये थॉट प्रोसेस था कि प्रॉब्ली मुझे ह्यूमैनिटीज का सब्जेक्ट ही चूज़ करना चाहिए। फिर मैंने ह्यूमैनिटीज के अराउंड 3-4 सब्जेक्ट्स शॉर्टलिस्ट किए थे एंड जब तक आई हैव टू चूज एन ऑप्शनल मैंने कुछ एनसीईआरटीज पढ़ी थी एंड कुछ यूपीएससी की जीएस बेस्ड प्रेप ऑलमोस्ट कुछ मंथ्स पहले शुरू करी थी एंड बाय दैट टाइम आई वाज ऑलमोस्ट श्योर दैट इट वाज इन पॉलिटी एंड स्पेशली इन आईआर, जिसमें मेरा इंटरेस्ट बन रहा था। एंड गिवन दैट इस सब्जेक्ट की ओवरलैप जीएस में काफी पेपर्स के साथ है, बीएड जीएस1 ऑलमोस्ट एंटायर जीएस2 इंक्लूडिंग जीएस4, दैट इज व्हाई आई टुक दैट ऑप्शन। सो मेरे अकॉर्डिंग एस्पिरेंट्स या कैंडिडेट्स का ये थॉट प्रोसेस होना चाहिए दैट इफ आपका ग्रेजुएशन सब्जेक्ट इटसेल्फ इज अवेलेबल टू यू, तो एंड आप उसमें कंफर्टेबल भी हैं, फॉर इंस्टेंस अगर आपका लॉ ग्रेजुएशन सब्जेक्ट है या आपका इकोनॉमिक्स है, आई थिंक यू शुड डेफिनेटली गो फॉर इट। लेकिन अगर आपका ग्रेजुएशन सब्जेक्ट नहीं है एंड इफ और यू आर नॉट कंफर्टेबल विद इट, आप किसी और अगर सब्जेक्ट को चूज करेंगे तो यू शुड फर्स्टली गिव इंपॉर्टेंस टू योर इंटरेस्ट, बिकॉज ऑप्शनल अनलाइक जीएस एक बहुत ही स्पेसिफिक स्टडी को इन्वॉल्व करता है, इसमें आपको काफी ज्यादा डेप्थ में पढ़ना पड़ता है एंड आप उस चीज को रिपीटेडली तभी पढ़ पाएंगे अगर आपका इंटरेस्ट उसमें लाई करता है। एंड बियॉन्ड इंटरेस्ट आई थिंक अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ गुड मटेरियल इज अनदर पैरामीटर दैट यू शुड केटर इनटू अगर जब आप अपना ऑप्शन चूज करेंगे। अब नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन आता है कोचिंग एंड टेस्ट सीरीज के बारे में। गिवन दैट मैं पीएसआईआर के ऑप्शन के बारे में ऑलमोस्ट क्लूलेस थी कि इसकी प्रिपरेशन कैसे करनी है एंड देयरफॉर मैंने इसके लिए क्लास में कोचिंग ली थी शुक्ला रंजन मैम से एंड मैंने उन्हीं के टेस्ट सीरीज भी फॉलो किए थे इन बोथ माय अटेम्प्ट्स एंड मोस्टली मैंने उनके नोट्स से ही प्रिपरेशन करी है। नेक्स्ट कमिंग टू द सोर्सेज ऑफ पीएसआईआर के 4 पार्ट्स हैं अगर हम 2 पेपर्स में देखें। Part 1, it deals with political theory and philosophy, like concepts like political thinkers like Aristotle and Plato, along with Indian political thinkers as well, and it also includes concepts like equality, justice, etc. इसके लिए मैंने कोई बुक भी रेफर नहीं करी थी, there are multiple books for that, but I just refer to Shubha Ranjan ma'am notes. And पेपर 1 में Part 2 होता है, that deals with Indian government and polity. इसके लिए भी I didn't refer to any book and just stuck to the coaching notes, and उसके साथ I supplemented it with Lakshmikant and my Vision Name 365 magazine. Then after paper 1, paper 2 में it deals with IR specifically, and paper 2 के Part 1 में it deals more with IR theory. इसके लिए मैंने शुभा रंजन मैम के नोट्स किए। सेकंडली मैंने एंड्रू हेवुड की ग्लोबल पॉलिटिक्स की बहुत ज़्यादा सिलेक्टिव रीडिंग करी, मैं नॉट गोइंग इनटू मच डेप्थ ऑफ इट। एंड लास्टली पेपर 2 के Part 1 के लिए मैंने ऑनलाइन सोर्सेज रेफर किए थे, जैसे प्रोजेक्ट सिंडिकेट या डिप्लोमा, जो हमारे वेरियस क्वेश्चंस लाइक जो करंट अफेयर्स ओरिएंटेड क्वेश्चंस हैं जैसे राइट्स या न्यूक्लियर प्रोलिफरेशन एक्सेट्रा के को केटर करता है। इस पार्ट के लिए मैं स्पेसिफिकली ये बोलूंगी कि ये पार्ट प्रिपेयर करना थोड़ा ट्रिकी होता है क्योंकि इसमें बहुत सारे ऐसे क्वेश्चंस हैं, फॉर इंस्टेंस कंटेम्परेरी ग्लोबल कंसर्न्स लाइक डेमोक्रेसी, ह्यूमन राइट्स एक्सेट्रा, जो हम एंड में इग्नोर कर देते हैं। तो अगर आप इन क्वेश्चंस को भी एक अच्छी प्रेप देंगे तो ये जो पार्ट है ये आपके लिए एक इशू नहीं बनेगा। एंड जो लास्ट पार्ट आता है पेपर 2 में दैट डील्स एक्सक्लूसिवली विद इंडियन फॉरेन पॉलिसी। इसके लिए मैंने कोई बुक नहीं रेफर करी थी, देयर बुक्स लाइक बाय डेविड मेलोन या पैक्स इंडिका, ये आपका एक अच्छा बेस बना सकती हैं विद रिस्पेक्ट टू आईआर एंड इवन फॉर जीएस में भी दे आर हेल्पफुल। बट आई थिंक दैट सिंस ये क्वेश्चन काफी डायनामिक है तो उन बुक्स की रेलेवेंस ओवर द इयर्स आई थिंक थोड़ी कम होती जा रही है। तो मैंने अपनी प्रैक्टिस शुरू में एक कर्सरी रीडिंग की थी बुक्स को, लेकिन एंड तक आई डिडंट यूज दीस बुक्स मच। मैंने जो प्रिपरेशन की उसके लिए मैंने शुभा रंजन मैम के नोट्स किए जो मेरे बेस में, एंड सेकंडली मैंने इसके लिए करंट अफेयर्स को बहुत ज्यादा रेफर किया। हिंदू या इंडियन एक्सप्रेस में आई यूज्ड टू कलेक्ट इंपॉर्टेंट एडिटोरियल्स, फॉर इंस्टेंस सी राजा मोहन या सुहासिनी हैदर एक्सेट्रा, एंड इन या फॉर्मर एम्बेसडर्स के भी, एंड इन सबके एडिटोरियल से आई यूज्ड टू ऐड वैल्यू टू माय इंडियन फॉरेन पॉलिसी आंसर्स। अब इस क्वेश्चन में आई आल्सो मेंशन वन थिंग, हम जो पीएसआईआर ऑप्शन वाले होते हैं वी ऑलवेज फेस एन इशू राइटिंग आईआर आंसर्स एंड वी ऑलवेज स्ट्रगल विद दिस एस्पेक्ट। देयर आर 2 रीजंस फॉर इट। फर्स्टली दैट जो हमारे पीएसआईआर के आईआर आंसर्स होते हैं वी कंफ्यूज देम विद द जीएस के आईआर आंसर्स। आई थिंक क्वालिटेटिवली बोथ देम आर 2 डिफरेंट थिंग्स। जीएस के आईआर आंसर्स में आपको सिर्फ एक जनरलिस्ट पर्सपेक्टिव से सिर्फ अपने फैक्ट्स फिगर्स बताने हैं। फॉर इंस्टेंस आपको आपको इंडो पैसिफिक में ये लिखना होगा कि इंडिया ने क्वाड इनिशिएटिव ज्वाइन किया, हमारी कोई सागर अप्रोच है, हमने कौन कौन से आइलैंड्स पे अपनी प्रेजेंस बनाई है। लेकिन जब आप PSIR का आंसर लिखेंगे तो यू जस्ट डोंट हैव टू मेंशन दी फैक्ट्स एंड फिगर्स, आपको साथ में अपने कमेंट्स या ओपिनियन भी डालना है। तो ये आंसर थोड़ा स्पेशलाइज होना चाहिए विद मच मोर क्वालिटी। तो इसके लिए आप अपने थिंकर्स ऐड करेंगे, आप अपनी IR की थ्योरी ऐड करेंगे इसमें। तो मतलब फॉर इंस्टेंस इंडो पैसिफिक में आप सिर्फ क्वाड इनिशिएटिव नहीं ऐड करेंगे, आप साथ में ऐड करेंगे इंडिया चाइना का क्वालिटेटिव रिलेशनशिप कैसे चेंज हुआ है, यू कोट पॉलिटिकल IR के स्पेशलिस्ट फॉर इंस्टेंस सी राजमोहन एक्सेट्रा, एंड इससे आपकी आंसर की हेल्प पड़ेगी एंड इट विल डिफरेंशिएट फ्रॉम GSIR आंसर। एंड सेकंड पॉइंट इन दिस पार्ट इज दैट ये जो क्वेश्चन है ये ऑलमोस्ट बहुत सारे PSIR कैंडिडेट्स का एक वीक पॉइंट बन जाता है। आई थिंक इसका ओनली रीजन ये है क्योंकि हम इसे इग्नोर कर देते हैं। सिंस PSIR का सिलेबस बहुत ज्यादा लेंदी होता है, हो सकता है, लेकिन ये जो क्वेश्चन है सिर्फ कम्स एट द एंड एंड ये काफी ज्यादा डायनामिक क्वेश्चन होता है, तो ये हमारा क्वेश्चन काफी ज्यादा इग्नोरेंस में चला जाता है एंड स्पेशली बिकॉज हम पार्ट 1 या पेपर 1 ही प्रिपेयर करते रह जाते हैं। सो ये मेरी हम्बल रिक्वेस्ट रहेगी सबसे कि इंस्टेड ऑफ गोइंग फॉर बुक एक्स ऑफ पार्ट ऑफ पॉलिटिकल थ्योरी, पॉलिटिकल फिलॉसफी ऑफ पेपर 1, जस्ट स्टिक टू योर लिमिटेड नोट्स एंड रादर देन आप एक बुक पढ़ें पेपर 1 की, आप उतना टाइम इन्वेस्ट करिए इंडियन फॉरेन पॉलिसी में, क्योंकि इसके कॉन्सेप्ट्स एक्चुअली बहुत आसान है इफ यू कंपेयर इट विद पॉलिटिकल फिलॉसफी। बट सिंस हम इसको कम टाइम डिवोट करते हैं तो ये हमारे वीक एरिया बन जाता है। सो मेरा ये सजेशन है कि इस पोर्शन को भी काफी ज्यादा आप इंपॉर्टेंस दें और इस पे भी टाइम डिवोट करें। आफ्टर डिस्कसिंग पार्ट वाइज सोर्सेस, जो नेक्स्ट पार्ट आता है PSIR के ट्रैक का, वो होता है नोट मेकिंग।
क्या आप मानोगे अगर मैं आपको कहूँ कि पेस्ट्री शेफ बनने का एक 100% प्रूवन स्टेप बाय स्टेप मेथड
PSIR के ट्रैक का, वो होता है नोट मेकिंग। अब द एंटायर गेम ऑफ PSIR इज दैट यू हैव टू मेंशन सर्टेन कीवर्ड्स एंड कोट सर्टेन थिंग्स। अगर मैं सिंपल टर्म्स में एक्सप्लेन करता हूं तो इसका बेस्ट तरीका इन सबको रिकॉल एंड याद करने का है, वो है आप अपने 1 पेज समरी नोट्स बनाएं हर टॉपिक पे। फॉर इंस्टेंस अगर आपके पास रॉल्स थ्योरी ऑफ जस्टिस है तो आप 1 पेज नोट्स बनाएं जिससे आप इस थ्योरी के ऑलमोस्ट सारे इंपॉर्टेंट कीवर्ड्स लिखें। फॉर इंस्टेंस जस्टिस इज फेयरनेस या सोशल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट या रैशनल चॉइस या 3 प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ जस्टिस गिवन बाय रॉल्स एंड लेक्सिकॉन ऑर्डर। जब आप सारे कीवर्ड्स एक पेज पे लिखेंगे और जो सारे इंपॉर्टेंट थिंकर्स एसोसिएटेड है उस कांसेप्ट के साथ लिखेंगे तो फर्स्टली आपकी रिवीजन बहुत आसान हो जाएगी एंड सेकंडली अल्टीमेटली आपको आंसर्स में कैसे भी करके ये कीवर्ड्स लिस्ट एंड नोट करके लिखने होंगे, तो आपकी आंसर राइटिंग की क्वालिटी भी इंप्रूव होगी। नोट मेकिंग के साथ आई ऑल्सो मेंशन वन मोर थिंग इज द डिबेट ऑन थिंकर्स। PSIR कैंडिडेट्स में एक बहुत एमिनेंट डिबेट ये होता है कि थिंकर्स अगर हमें कोट करने हैं हाउ मेनी, मतलब 1 2 या हाउ मेनी थिंकर्स शुड बी इंक्लूड। अब एज फार एज आई हैव अंडरस्टूड कि आपका आंसर PSIR का आपका आंसर आपके खुद के ओपिनियन से बनता है रादर देन द ओपिनियन ऑफ थिंकर्स। सो अगर आप कोई भी थिंकर आपके आंसर के फ्लो में आता है देन डेफिनेटली यू शुड मेंशन इट, बट आई थिंक 2 और 3 से ज्यादा होंगे तो इट प्रॉब्ली स्पॉइल्स द फ्लो ऑफ योर आंसर। सो थिंकर्स आपको ऐड करनी चाहिए अपने व्यू पॉइंट को सब्सटैंशिएट करने के लिए। इट शुड नॉट बी दैट कोई कॉन्सेप्ट है उसके 10 डिफरेंट थिंकर्स कोट कर दिया एंड दैट्स इट, वो आपके आंसर को नहीं बनाते हैं। आपको अपना व्यू डालना है एंड थिंकर्स के व्यू डालने हैं अपने आंसर को वेट देने के लिए। After note making, I would say the next important aspect of PSIR that is related with answer writing. Answer writing इसके लिए और probably any option के लिए इसमें important है क्योंकि over the years it is observed that बहुत सारे static portions especially में कई बार question repeat होते हैं। So अगर आप अपनी previous year के questions की answer writing अच्छी तरह कर पाते हैं तो आपकी काफी एक portion of prep काफी ज्यादा अच्छी तरह prepare हो जाएगा। For instance अगर आप Plato के questions देखेंगे previous year में तो you will find out कि 10-15 types of questions हैं जो हर साल over the years repeat होते रहते हैं। So I would suggest कि आप हर subject wise या topic wise एक question bank बनाइए एंड जब भी आप कोई topic करेंगे तो उन्हीं questions को बार-बार revise करिए। आप उनके model answers बना सकते हैं या अगर आपके पास टाइम की कमी है तो आप बस उनकी एक रफ सा फ्रेमवर्क भी बना सकते हैं एंड दैट वुड बी ऑल। आंसर राइटिंग के बाद PSIR के प्रेप का लास्ट पार्ट है रिगार्डिंग टेस्ट सीरीज। मेरा ये सजेशन है कि आपको डेफिनेटली टेस्ट लिखनी चाहिए स्पेशली ऑप्शन के लिए क्योंकि सिलेबस इज नॉट दैट कंसाइज एंड जो सारे जो चारों पार्ट्स हैं उनमें इंटरलिंकेजेस हैं लेकिन क्वालिटेटिवली उनकी स्टडी भी काफी डाइवर्स हो जाती है एंड आंसर राइटिंग के मेथड भी डिफरेंट हो जाते हैं। सो आई विल सजेस्ट कि आप डेफिनेटली टेस्ट सीरीज की प्रैक्टिस कीजिए। आपको कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट की टेस्ट सीरीज भी प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हैं, आई डिड शुगर रंजन मैम के टेस्ट सीरीज। अलोंग विद दैट आप प्रीवियस ईयर आपके प्रीवियस क्वेश्चन आपके बेस्ट सोर्सेज होंगे स्पेशली फॉर पेपर 1 एंड साथ में आप अगर कोई टेस्ट सीरीज करते हैं तो मॉडल आंसर भी आप प्रिपेयर कीजिए और उन्हें बार-बार रिवाइज कीजिए एंड प्रोबेबली ये रिवीजन एंड मॉडल आंसर प्रेप वाज माय बिगेस्ट लर्निंग इन माय सेकंड अटेम्प्ट क्योंकि आई रिमेंबर दैट ड्यू टू पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ टाइम मेरी फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट में रिवीजन भी अच्छी नहीं थी एंड मेरी राइटिंग स्पीड वाज आल्सो नॉट दैट वेरी गुड एंड आई रिमेंबर दैट इन पेपर 2 ऑफ PSIR आई वाज मिसिंग आउट बाय 100 मार्क्स इन द लास्ट हाफ एन आवर। सो इतना बड़ा ये इतनी बड़ी शॉर्टकमिंग थी मेरी व्हिच आई वाज एबल टू surpass only by repeated revision of my summary notes of PSIR and secondly giving a lot of tests and revising them again and again. So I think that is all from my side and all the best to everyone. Thank you for watching this video.
देखिए आप जो मटेरियल देख रहे हैं ये आपका PSIR ऑप्शनल का है, हिंदी मीडियम और इंग्लिश मीडियम का मटेरियल है। इसको हमने ऑनलाइन परचेस किया है, कैसे परचेस किया उसका हम आगे वीडियो में डिटेल में बताएंगे। तो इस वीडियो में आपका PSIR ऑप्शनल शुभानंदन मैम का जो नोट्स आता है उससे रिलेटेड सारे डाउट क्लियर हो जाएंगे, जैसे इसके पेज क्वालिटी, प्रिंट क्वालिटी, इसके कंटेंट की क्वालिटी और साथ में कैसे इसको परचेस कर सकते हो उसके बारे में वीडियो में आगे आपको बताएंगे। तो वीडियो को पेशेंस से देखना, टेक्स्ट बाइट काफी अच्छा है, आपने देखी होगी एंड ये PYQ का एक बुक है, इसका मैं वीडियो में बताएंगे फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट है। तो आपको रिमेंबर करना है सामने इससे रिलेटेड बात होने सुरन ने उसने किया किसी और करना चाहिए तो हम 19 के नोट्स में लेटेस्ट नोट्स का रेफरेंस है, प्रिंटेड और हैंड में का रेफरेंस है एंड आपका पब्लिश कौन सी फॉर्म नहीं होगा बताएंगे, न्यू कौन सा बताएंगे। स्टार्ट करते हैं इस वीडियो को। जय हिंद ऑफिसर्स, माय नेम इज प्रिंसिपल वेलकम टू केजेमिशन। तो ये सारे प्लेलिस्ट जो आपकी PSIR ऑप्शन के लिए टोटल 8 प्लेलिस्ट है, आप देखिए कंटेंट काफी ज्यादा है, आपको डिटेल में इसका सब इंडेक्स दिखाएंगे। पहले आपको सारी प्लेलिस्ट बता देना, फर्स्ट ये सेकंड वाला ये है एंड ये आपकी थर्ड प्लेलिस्ट है, ये आपकी फोर्थ प्लेलिस्ट है, ये आपकी फिफ्थ प्लेलिस्ट है, ये आपकी सिक्स्थ प्लेलिस्ट है एंड ये आपकी सेवंथ है और ये आपकी एट्थ है। ये वाली प्लेलिस्ट काफी बाकी है तो आपको एक एक करके डिटेल में सबका इंडेक्स सिलेबस दिखाते हैं ताकि आपको ये आइडिया हो जाए कि कितना सिलेबस कितना कंटेंट कवर करती है एंड आपका कोई कंफ्यूजन नहीं है। तो ये है आपकी फर्स्ट प्लेलिस्ट वॉल्यूम 1, इसमें पहले
अच्छी थी, जो पेज क्वालिटी है ना ये काफी अच्छी है। अगर आप Amazon फ्लिपकार्ट से परचेज करते हैं तो पेज क्वालिटी घट जाती है, कैसा लगता है पेज फट जाएगा। काफी सारे स्टूडेंट्स ने शिकायत करी है, रिव्यू आके लिखते हैं, तो हम उससे हमें पता है और आप देख सकते हैं फोटो क्लियर तो पेज क्वालिटी, प्रिंट क्वालिटी एंड बाइंडिंग क्वालिटी काफी अच्छी है। ये आपके सेकंड बुकलेट का कंटेंट लगाते हैं, ये आपके सेकंड बुकलेट का कंटेंट एंड ये बुकलेट भी काफी अच्छे तरीके से आप देख सकते हैं। ये आपके थर्ड बुकलेट का आप सिलेबस लगाते हैं, ये तो सिलेबस एंड टेक्स्ट इस वजह से हम आपको बताते हैं, जो टेक्स्ट होता है कि आप सिलेबस इसको मिस कर दो एंड यहाँ पे ये देखो इसकी प्रिंट क्वालिटी काफी अच्छी है और जो राइटिंग है इस बार पिछले एग्जाम में काफी ज्यादा बेटर है। जिनके पास पुराना नोट्स होगा वो सीधे क्लियरली इसको देख सकते हैं, जिनके पास नहीं है तो वो दोस्तों परचेज करके अपना वैल्यू लेंगे। ये इसकी पार्ट 4 है, पार्ट 4 में आप यहाँ देख सकते हैं आपका कंटेंट है। आप चाहो तो इस स्क्रीनशॉट ले सकते हैं, जैसे आप आईडी डालोगे सिलेबस दिया था 20000 में एंड जो उसको ईवाई क्वेश्चन बनाया होगा आपको आईडी लग जाएगा और ये देखो काफी अच्छे तरीके से राइटिंग है इस बारे में। तो आप समझ लो ये भी काफी वैल्यूएबल है एंड ये आपकी नेक्स्ट बुकलेट, ये इसका कंटेंट है, बुकलेट नंबर 5 ये इसका कंटेंट है। इसमें जो थोड़ा थोड़ा कंटेंट है 2019 वाला है एंड जो इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट्स है उसको अंडरलाइन कर रखा है। ये देखो क्योंकि क्लास नोट्स है तो क्लास नोट्स में तरीके से अंडरलाइन किया जाता है स्टूडेंट्स को एंड ये देखो ये जो 2019 वाला नोट्स है ना उसका थोड़ा सा कंटेंट इसमें इंक्लूड किया गया है, टेक्निकल अभी तक चेंज नहीं हुआ है। जो चेंज हुआ है वो सारा आपको दिखेगा। देखिए आपका ऑप्शन है जो भी हो, लेकिन आपको यूपीएससी की वैल्यू सॉल्व करना बहुत जरूरी है। तो आपको रिकमेंड करेंगे यूपीएससी की वैल्यू चूज करिए। उसका क्वेश्चन होगा 28 इयर्स में यूपीएससी के टॉपिक वाइज सारे क्वेश्चन दे रखे हैं। तो इसमें सीसेट का कवर किया है 2011 से 2022 तक सारे टॉपिक वाइज काफी अच्छी चीज है और यहाँ पे कंसेप्ट वगैरह काफी अच्छे से रखा है। आपको इसका शॉर्ट में रखा है, ये यहाँ पे कंटेंट दे रखा है स्टार्टिंग हर एक सब्जेक्ट जियोग्राफी पॉलिटिक्स टेक्नोलॉजी करंट अफेयर। यहाँ पे आप देखो सीसेट को इसमें कवर किया है, काफी स्टूडेंट्स का डाउट रहता है। ये स्टार्टिंग में क्या किया रखा है सिलेबस है यूपीएससी का सिलेबस है। उन्होंने ट्रेन का बेसिस रखा है कि पिछले 28 साल में हर एक सब्जेक्ट पे कितने सारे क्वेश्चन आए उसका ट्रेन को पूरे एनालाइज करके रखा है। यहाँ पे सीसेट को उन्होंने एनालाइज किया है। तो अगर आप एक बिगिनर आपको पता नहीं कुछ भी तो आपके लिए ये काफी अच्छी बेनिफिशियल रहेगी। और कोई चीज बताते हैं सेंसिटिव इंडस्ट्री में आपका क्वेश्चन का ये और सारा देखो ये डिजाइन सब स्टूडेंट्स के लिए जो प्रोफेशनलिज्म यहाँ पे पूरा कंटेंट दे रखा है। इसमें ज्यादा चेंजेस नहीं है, 2019 वाले नोट्स है उसका थोड़ा थोड़ा पार्ट इसमें इंक्लूड किया गया है क्योंकि इसमें ज्यादा चेंजेस आई नहीं। जो चेंजेस आपके करंट अफेयर में आते हैं स्टैटिक पार्ट लगभग सबसे रहता है। आपके 7 बुकलेट में कंटेंट चेंज है, यहाँ पे 4th और 5th बुकलेट में चेंज नहीं है, इसका कंटेंट है इसका स्क्रीनशॉट ले सकते हो एंड आप इसकी प्रिंट क्वालिटी देख सकते हो। ठीक है, ये आपकी 8th बुकलेट है, ठीक है, इसमें भी आप देख सकते हो चीज को। ये जो बुकलेट काफी बल्कि है, स्टार्टिंग में आपको बताया था एंड क्योंकि आई आपको लिखा है इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस में बहुत किया गया है तो इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस काफी बड़ा टॉपिक रहता है। देखो यहाँ पे रखा है लेक्चर नंबर 26 क्योंकि क्लास नोट्स है तो क्लास नोट्स लेक्चर वाइज सकते हैं तो पूरा कंटेंट है इसमें। ये देखो इसके साथ आपको करंट अफेयर लिंक करना होगा। आपको पता है टोटल 8 बुकलेट में कितने सारे पेज हैं, हमने आपको रखा है सबके लिए। तो फर्स्ट बुकलेट में आपके करीब 250 पेज हैं, जबकि सेकंड बुकलेट है उसमें आपके करीब 315 पेज हैं, है ना। और आपकी थर्ड बुकलेट उसमें 325 पेज हैं, फोर्थ बुकलेट इसमें 400 पेज हैं, फिर आपका 266 में आपका 315 और 260 400 है ना। तो आप इसको काउंट करना आपको पता चलेगा कितना कंटेंट इसमें प्रोवाइड किया जा रहा है। अब बात आती है इसको लेके ईवाईक्यूज की बुकलेट पॉलिटिकल साइंस एंड इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस हिंदी एंड इंग्लिश मीडियम। सबसे बड़ी बात क्या है आप चाहे हिंदी मीडियम इंग्लिश मीडियम आप एक काम कर सकते हो। ये नोट्स का फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट दिया गया है, फर्स्ट टाइम में कोई ईवाईक्यूज को इसके साथ नोट्स का फ्री दिया गया है। जैसे क्या है डिस्कशन में करें, जैसे आप यहाँ पे देखोगे 1989 सही क्वेश्चन दे रखे हैं, यानी आप अंदर लगाओ तो क्वेश्चन दे रखे हैं 2020 का पेपर। इसमें आपका पहले इंग्लिश में दे रखा है उसका फिर आपका हिंदी दे रखा है, हिंदी हो गया तो आप आराम से समझ सकते हैं ये बुक इसके साथ फ्री दिया गया और काफी आसान है। अब बात करते हैं इसके बारे में कि ये जो नोट्स है पुराने वाले तुलना में कितना बेहतर है। देखो जो पुराना नोट्स था शिवानंद मैम का वो 2019 में नोट्स था, ये आपका 2022 का 22 समझो 23 समझो क्योंकि 22 में कुछ अपडेट नहीं हुआ है। इसमें पहली बात तो आपका जो कंटेंट है वो अपग्रेड हुआ है, कुछ सारा डेटा है वो चेंज हुआ है। दूसरी चीज कंटेंट बड़ा है क्योंकि पहले आपकी 6 बुकलेट आती थी, अभी आपकी 8 बुकलेट होगी मोटी मोटी। हमने आपको इस पे पेजेस दिखा दिए, इसमें कितने सारे पेजेस आते हैं। अब लास्ट एंड फाइनल पॉइंट कि इस नोट्स को आप इस्तेमाल करते हो तीसरा ऑप्शन में एंड इसके साथ आपको कौन सी बुकलेट फॉलो करनी है तो बुकलेट का अब ऑप्शन है। ये सारे ऑप्शन नोट्स के साथ पहली बुक है वो है स्टूडेंट आप जीएस के लिए इसको पढ़ोगे तो इसको आप काम कर सकते हो। दूसरी जो बुक है आपकी कॉपी गावा की बुक, तीसरी जो बुक है आपकी डिटेल्स की बुक, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन से रिलेटेड बुक है, आप उसको पढ़ना। और ये तो देखो ये जो हमने बताया बुकलेट आपको ये आपका बिगिनिंग लेवल की है, यानी आप नोट्स पढ़ोगे एंड बुक्स पढ़ोगे करंट अफेयर करोगे आपका लगभग काम चल जाएगा। अगर आपको एडवांस लेवल की प्रिपरेशन करनी होगी तो जब आपकी प्रिपरेशन पूरी हो जाए यानी बिगिनिंग लेवल और 20 लेवल यानी इंटरमीडिएट लेवल तब आप एडवांस पे जाओगे। एडवांस की टेंशन अभी से मतलब अभी से परेशान मत हो, आप इतना करो साथ में कैसे सॉल्व करो। आपको बताना है इसको कैसे परचेज कर सकते हो तो परचेज करने का लिंक है मैंने डिस्क्रिप्शन दे रखा है, उस पे क्लिक करके आप इस तरीके से पहुंचोगे। यहां पहुंचने के बाद में आपको प्रोडक्ट डिजाइन प्राइस दे रहा है उसके उस पर आप बाय नाउ का ऑप्शन क्लिक करोगे। बाय नाउ का ऑप्शन क्लिक करके आप अंदर जाओगे तो आपको अपना नेम डिटेल एड्रेस फिल कर दो, क्लिक करनी है ताकि आपके पास ये आंसर बन जाए। नीचे आपको प्रोडक्ट दिखाई देगा, आप दो तरीके से पेमेंट कर सकते हो, ऑनलाइन पेमेंट कर सकते हो या कैश ऑन डिलीवरी कर सकते हो। कैश ऑन डिलीवरी करोगे तो आपका कुछ चार्जेस एक्स्ट्रा लगेगा। हम आपको बोलेंगे कि वेबसाइट वीडियो को लाइक करो, चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लो ताकि आपको ऐसे वीडियो का फीचर मिलते रहे। मैं इसको शेयर करना और जो हिंदी वाले जो स्टूडेंट है उनको क्लास में करना होता है